Today on Bridging the Gaps to Connections, I have Paul Rees here today, and I am really eager to be able to share his expertise in a lot of different things. He is such a brilliant individual that I have had the recent opportunity to meet through other people, especially my boyfriend. However, what I'm really wanting to talk about today is Paul and what Paul Rees is doing. So, without any further ado, Paul, can you go ahead? And what I would love to know today is who are you? Who are you? Like, what do you do? How do we encapsulate Paul?
Wow. I mean, Darla, that is such a profound question to ask, because many people would stumble at the who are you question. Well, what I am is a devoted human being to my life. I'm devoted to the purpose of my life. And then I'm devoted to those that support the purpose of my life. That allows myself then to fill their tank in life. That's what I am. That's who I am. And the shape of that looks like my sole entrepreneurial life has been about philanthropy, the philanthropic way of life, which is dedicated to fill in the emotional economy of life. Basically, my currency is life currency. Behind that, there always has to be money currency, or we can't continue the life currency process, purpose, and I guess growth. In that whole arena of Paul's life, there's a beautiful wife called Deborah, who is an incredibly gifted life strategist, and she is such a support system, along with 3 dogs, and we live in the middle of nowhere in the country. Very gifted, although we are looking to change that whole direction and go more off-grid, because I wish to experience that in my lifetime. And I guess, Darla, my whole life is about understanding the emotional shape of what makes people who dedicate their philanthropic selves into an emotional economy, what makes that shape so successful, and how do we continue the success of that shape?
Beautiful. What a great explanation to you.
Oh, bless.
You know, but here's where most people struggle. Who are we? What are we about? Why do we do what we do? And you really have taken the time to really dive into yourself first so that you can be able to bring that vision out to the world. So thank you. Now, what I really want to know for everybody else listening in that's going to watch this video, tell me, like, touch base on the different things that you offer and that you help people and assist others through in your business.
Okay, and thank you for the question, because it leaves me wide open to pitch, which I don't wish it to be, but use what I'm about is. Firstly, my career started as a well, I could say I actually started a career as a professional psychic medium, and I traveled the whole world as a professional psychic medium. You know, the spiritual part of life is very ingrained, very deep, and a very purposeful part of who I am and my wife. And I really enjoyed that part of my life, still do. No longer a working medium, I would like to say, or a professional medium, I'll put it that way, because we made a living from mental mediumship and teaching it, workshops, and all those things all over the world. We're very lucky. That really brought me a greater understanding of people's thinking, the inner of human beings, what that looked like. And also from that, I'm going to say part of my life, part of my working life, I learned to listen differently to life. I learned to listen to the invisible conversations. We call it, let's call it, instead of your third eye, your third year. So let's call it your third year listening. It's very different. So when you have a conversation with something, you're listening to the awareness of that person rather. And this is not a psychic. This is not a psychic ability, mind. It's a conscious way of listening to life. And this is what we call being part of the emotional economy. When you listen to the emotional economy, it's a very different language that you hear. So I learned from there how to listen to your wisdom, your intuition, listen to hear those things. And it is a very easy way to live. When we hold a conversation with our words are the most unreliable form of communication, because we haven't done the right amount of work on ourselves to speak accurately in aligned with our true emotions. We will bend and twist words to camouflage, reflect, reshape, and then many times lie, but not in a malicious way, but incorrectly relay our true feelings due to the watered down vocabulary that we use. So I learned to listen not to words, but listen to awareness. And it's something that's in every single one of us. Nobody is at a higher place than anybody else to do this.
Exactly.
It's common sense emotional listening. Let me say that again. Common sense emotional listening, or let's just call it conscious conversations.
Beautiful.
And that really shaped my first business, which was basically building legacy businesses. So I build legacy businesses, as you see behind me. I work with individuals that have built businesses and are ready to make a difference with their success and basically shape themselves into philanthropic entrepreneurs, philanthropic human beings. It's not just for business people. You know, if you're a spiritual person, you've really decided to give all of your wisdom, share all of your wisdom into an environment where it can be recycled and reused to create greater thinking for those who are growing behind you in a human life. Yeah. Then those people come to me also to say, okay, I wish to embrace a philanthropic way. And it is a full 12-month journey. That's one business. My other business is called Out There Life T.V, where we for, I'm going to say, ordinary human beings. We're not talking celebrities, because every human being has a life, has a unique fingerprint of a story that will really help to be that influencer, will really help to influence the minds that are growing behind them in life. So we build documentaries for everyday people. We film documentaries of people's lives. And some people, they keep them because they will recycle these films of their lives for generations to come. Their great grandchildren will be watching the story of this person's life. It's a recycled diary of life. So that's our Out There Life TV business.
That is incredible. So literally, let's talk about that. Let's frame that right there. So say here I am, I'm excited about what you're talking about right now, because I really am. And I have a story in my life that needs to be, shown to the world, because you know what, that's really what we're all here for, right? We all have an experience. We're all here trying to get our message out. Here you are, I'm sitting with someone who's like, I'm going to frame it for you, literally, in a format where you can actually watch it and give it to other people so other people can watch it too. So how would I go about reaching you and getting into this? What would it look like for me?
So firstly, Darla, we would have a call and we would go through the mechanics of what this would look like. So we would spend 3 months together just researching and going through every fine detail of life from birth to present day. We would also then align all the what we call hardship, but we say is growth. We would align all that growth and how that is outplaying now in your life. what that looks like, how you're delivering all that growth, and how that can be delivered through a life story format. So me, Paul Rees, who might find Darla on YouTube and say, I want to watch your life story, will get so many insights and golden nuggets from what you consider to be your trauma, but is now my bonus, because now I'm reliving my life. I'm reinventing my life because this lady Darla has shared something that's so aligned with what I've been through that I'm now saved as a human being. I've now been saved by watching Darla's life story. I've changed my process of thought through watching a life story, because your life story is a message to millions. And each part of your life story would probably be aggressive viewing. It would be a shock to the human system to listen to the story that you've been through, but at the same time, it is going to save millions of emotional lives from them watching your story, getting strength from what they're experiencing from the commonality, and then changing that into an investment into the emotional economy. That is a legacy business.
That, I have to say, truly is. And even with you talking about it, it stirred every emotion within me just now, going, oh, wow. Because, yeah, really, when it comes down to anybody's story, not just Darla's, but what he was saying was so that you could have a pinpoint focus. Here we are now. Let's change the name. It's no longer Darla. It's anyone out there right now who's listening in. It's your story. It's your decisions. It's your life. It's the situations. So Paul is literally, why do you do that, Paul? What makes you decide that that is your passion?
Well, here's the thing is that people generalize their lives because of, one, they've been through it and nobody else. Many assume that what they've been through is same as everybody else, or they will generalize the trauma that they've been through and they will dilute it, cheapen it, or just scan through it. But those intense messages are life-saving messages for millions of other individuals that share commonality. Doesn't always have to be trauma. It can be a story of families and quirkiness and all these beautiful things. It can be anything. But I spent 10 years specializing, refining how to interview. And also from my days of understanding human beings through my coaching days, and still, which are a big part of my life, by the way. I still do a lot of coaching, business coaching and things. Through that, I've learned to really sort of fine tune how to understand an event into a purpose, into an action, into a reward for another person. Also, it brings a greater range of purpose as to why that individual experienced what they did. And again, it doesn't have to be a trauma story. It can be a share of overcome. It can be a share of just happiness. It can be a share of, this is what it felt like to be a mom or a dad, a grandfather, grandmother, to have fought in the wars, whatever it may be. A hero's journey, a simple journey. A simple journey is always a profound journey, because we play down our lives because we don't have the word Hollywood above it. Beautiful. But yet every life is a Hollywood story.
Yes, and you're right. Here I am sitting here going, is my story really that well? Yes, we're all Hollywood stories. Wow. For anybody listening in on this right now, take a second and really imagine what Paul just said. He just said that he's going to take your life. It doesn't matter whether or not it was the trauma, whether or not you're the hero's journey, whether or not you're literally living life and whatever it was, from how did you become you? Yes. And he's literally encapsulating it into a video that you can share with other people. What a message, what a true journey for you, as well as, the opportunity for others to hear each one of us in our stories. How amazing is that? So I really want to ask you, real quick here, how do people find you? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, to get hold of me, there's the website, which is www.outtherelifestories.com. They will get hold of me at info@paulrees.business. And there's my cell number above there also, on my mobile, handy, depending which country you are. The Life Story is a 6-episode series. Each episode is about between 30 to 45 minutes long. So your life story will be 6 episodes of 45 minutes each episode into a series. It's a huge process of a day, sometimes 2 days filming, but it is a minimum of 12 1-hour calls research on with me, where we go through fine detail of your life story.
How incredible is that? Really? I mean, I'm looking at that opportunity right there. And even myself, I'm going, wow, I have a message. I have a story. I do have a situation. And that even it piques my interest of, oh, this might be something I'm going to get involved in so that I can do something, not at the moment, because I've got a couple irons in the fire at the moment and don't have the availability. However, but definitely looking at something later. This is something that is really incredible. I love the fact that you are really taking individuals and giving them such a gift to see the beauty of their real life. Yeah. That is something beautiful. When you finish what you do and you finish with one of your clients, you've now embodied that journey. How does that feel for you when you have been able to hand them the delivered product?
Wow. Sometimes it's overly overwhelming. The size of what we've filmed, and the size of impact sometimes. I've had clients that have done a full life story, and their family have sat down and just did not realize there was so much more to this individual, and it's created just amazing celebrations. And when you think about that 6-episode series, will be available for the next hundreds of years to that family tree. It's sometimes it gets very overwhelming for me, and I have to ground myself and get myself a little collected, because you can get very nervous knowing that my job is to make sure that in these 6 episodes we maintain the story, we constantly get the greatest we can out of it, because we want the emotional economy to grow from this, to benefit from this. It can be a lot of pressure, but I just love it.
You love what you do. That is right there. That's the key. Right there. That's the key. If you love what you do, you're going to keep showing up. You're going to keep going. Yeah. So this is really something you intend to continue doing for quite some time, helping other people to actually see their life come to the screen and be able to actually deliver that. I'm excited for what you are doing. That is such a gift. Overall, like that's like unwrapping, Christmas morning, here we are. It's the whole package of it inside the box. You open the box and now you picked up Christmas. You didn't just walk into Christmas. You're literally unwrapping Christmas for someone else. Because when you can help someone to deliver their story like that, I know from my own experience, just some of the stuff we've had the privilege on your radio show, because this guy even does radio, guys. Yeah, like that's how I met Paul. I went on his show. So here we are now. He's got, what is the name of your show? It's in UK. It's in the UK.
Yeah, it's called UK Health Radio. And the show is called Business, Health and Emotional Wealth. And we there are amazing stories on there again. There are so many individuals like yourself, Darla, that are striving to make a difference in the world, in the emotional economy, and at the same time have a reward for that, because you deserve a reward. At the end of the day, gratitude out, gratitude back. That's how the universe works. And let's remember that, people. Money is okay. Money is not a dirty item. It's okay to have money, and it's okay to have it to grow your life, grow your message. And it doesn't mean you have to give it away. It just means that you're getting shown gratitude for your efforts. And in the spiritual world, it's okay to have money. It's okay to invoice someone for what is your dedication to bettering the emotional economy. It's okay to do that. The universe doesn't wish us to be poor.
Well, the universe wants us to be abundant.
Yeah.
The universe expects us to be abundant. It's whether or not our story is blocking us from it. So that's when you need to get in touch with a Paul, a Darla, or someone that can help you to move that out of the way. Because we can get hung up in those storylines of what happened that keep us from it. But truly, here we are. We've got this gentleman here who is worked with the psyche, working with people and helping people to break through themselves over the course of his life. He's now featuring people on, in their own shows, their own programs, so that they can actually encapsulate their entire life. He does radio. He's such an incredible human being. Paul, you really are incredible.
Oh, bless.
And you truly are just such a gem that gets hidden behind the mic, that people don't get to see as often. You hide behind the camera. You're the behind the scenes guy. You're always the behind the scenes. And it is a privilege today to be able to feature you out into the world so that others can see you, what you're doing. If you could tell the audience right now one thing that would impact their life today, what would you like to tell them?
Oh, wow. I would say, please enjoy your bragging rights. Please enjoy your bragging rights as a human being. There is no such thing as saying too much good about yourself. I'm Paul Rees. I'm 57 years of age. I'm drop dead gorgeous. I am beautiful. Does that make me egotistical? Well, if it does, then I am. But I'm a healthy egotistical person. I would say, please, audience, please practice your bragging rights to say good things about yourself every day to people, and have no guilt behind it. And one thing that I learned, and just quickly, Dal, is that I am a recovered, generous person. I no longer give generosity because of guilt, because I assume I have to. I'm a very generous person, but I do it for purpose now. So I'm a recovered, generous person.
That is a message I needed to hear. You just spoke, that just spoke into my soul. That was a message I needed to hear. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Guys, one more time, what is that website that they can reach you, Paul?
Okay, so it's www.outtherelifetv.com.
Perfect. So thank you guys for joining Bridging the Gap today and allowing us to hear what was going on with Paul Rees. I hope that you actually connect and take the time to go ahead and embark on the journey to uncovering your story with Paul. Thank you guys. Bye for now.